After taking account of the aggravating and mitigating factors in your case, I impose a sentence of 9 years and 8 months imprisonment, subject to allowing for the time which you have spent remanded in custody. You will serve 2/3 of the sentence in custody and will be on licence thereafter for the rest of the sentence.
The UK has shown the integrity of its justice system by sending one of Nigeria's most powerful politicians, Ike Eweremadu, to prison for organ trafficking. Following his conviction, the 60-year-old lawmaker was sentenced to 9 years and 8 months imprisonment. His wife, Beatrice Ekweramadu, bagged 4 years and 6 months imprisonment. The couple's medical middleman, Dr. Obeta, was not left out. He was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment.
Bank statements show otherwise and demonstrate that you were reliant on the funds you secured from the Ekweramadu family to keep your head above water. You applied a high degree of planning and premeditation. You arranged the visa. You secured a fabricated affidavit, and you organized a scheme to seek to deceive the clinicians and ultimately the Human Tissue Authority. You kept a substantial sum of money that was paid by Ike Eweremadu and was intended for the donor.
On March 23, 2023, the elite couple made the news after they were found guilty of trafficking a 21-year-old man from Nigeria to the UK under the pretense of giving him a better life in the UK, but was actually harvesting his organ to treat their daughter, Sonia Ekweremadu, who is suffering from kidney disease. Since their sentencing, Sonia has come out to defend her parents, while the actual victim in the case has begun begging that the UK grants him asylum for fear of being unleaved if he returns to Nigeria.
I don't feel anything towards him. I, wish him all the best.
But not Reno Omokri, who in a recent social media post appealed to President Muhammadu Buhari to use his private audience with King Charles III on the occasion of the royal coronation to secure a pardon for Senator Ike Eweremadu and his wife. Will President Muhammadu Buhari attempt to secure a pardon for the couple?
You, Ike Eweremadu, are a senator in Nigeria's National Assembly. You have held high political office. You had many staff, including domestic staff, maids, chefs and drivers. You own multiple properties around the globe. There is evidence of as many as 40. More than £400,000 went into your bank account over a 6-month period.
Hello guys, it's T-Code here for African Glitz.
Life is just so dynamic. Like, one day you're in your house chilling, the next day your whole life is turned upside down.
In one of the biggest embarrassing moments in the history of Nigeria, one of Nigeria's famous politicians, Ike Eweremadu, and his wife, Beatrice, were arrested on June 23rd for organ trafficking in London. According to the UK Metropolitan Police Specialist Team facilitating their arrest, they were alerted to potential offences under modern slavery legislation. The Ekweremadus were accused of bringing a 21-year-old man from Nigeria to the UK to harvest his organ for their daughter, Sonia, suffering from kidney disease, under the guise of giving him a better life. The UK modern slavery legislation enacted in May 2022 encourages organ donors to be family members or have a close relationship with the person in need of the organ. It also prohibits paying organ donors, insisting that donors know the risks associated with donating an organ and have the financial capacity to manage their health after the procedure, all of which was contradicted by the Ekweremadus. Using a medical middleman named Dr. Obeta, they recruited their victim, a poor street trader in Lagos, who was brought to the UK to provide a kidney for the Ekweremadu's daughter for €7,000. According to reports, the victim, an illiterate going by the name David Uwamiri, had no idea why he was in the UK, besides that he was promised a better life. On getting to the Royal Free Hospital for the private £80,000 procedure, when he was told it was his kidney that he was donating, he again asked what a kidney is, confirming that the procedure and health risk involved was not communicated to the victim. He later fled in fear for his life and walked into a police station to report what had happened.
On the 3rd of May, when C was due to return to Nigeria, he ran away. He spent 2 nights sleeping rough. On the 5th of May, exactly a year ago, he attended Staines police station. It was recognised that he might be a victim of trafficking. Subsequently, each of you was arrested, charged, prosecuted, and convicted.
The Ekweremadus were denied bail and tried at the Uxbridge Magistrates Court in London, also known as the Old Baileys. On March 23, 2023, Ike Eweremadu and his wife, Beatrice Ekweramadu, were found guilty alongside their medical middleman, Dr. Obeta. Their daughter, Sonia, was forced to drop out of a master's program in the UK over a kidney disease, was found innocent and was acquitted.
It was mentioned in court that this man was portrayed as your cousin. Did you know that was the case?
I'm not really sure how to answer that.
I mean, I can't answer that.
C suffered a loss of his personal autonomy because you kept his passport and exercised control over his movements and his basic human needs. He was put in fear that he would be subject to the forced removal of his kidney without any appropriate aftercare.
Finally, on May 5, Ike Eweremadu, who the judge described as the driving force throughout the organ trafficking plan, was sentenced to 9 years and 8 months in prison. Beatrice Ekweremadu was jailed for 4 years and 6 months due to her limited involvement. Dr. Obeta was sentenced to 10 years after the judge found he had targeted the potential donor, who was young, poor and vulnerable.
C grew up in a village where he had no electricity or running water. He left school at the age of 15 and he went to Lagos, where he sold phone accessories from a wheelbarrow in a market.
The judge, Justice Jeremy Johnson of the UK court, said all 3 conspirators played a part in the despicable trade. According to Justin Johnson, harvesting human organs is a form of slavery that treats human beings and their bodies as commodities to be bought and sold. This case is also the first to be tried under the UK Modern Slavery Act, which explains why the Ekweremadu were used as scapegoats to deter others that treat other human beings as disposable spare parts. Sadly, during the trials and travails of the Ekweremadus, it's been met by radio silence from the Nigerian elite class. In June 2022, following their arrest, former Minister of Aviation Femi Fani-Kayode called out President Muhammadu Buhari for his deafening silence. He tweeted, "I call on President Buhari to stand for Ekweremadu and not remain silent in the face of what is emerging as a criminal conspiracy and grave injustice hashed against a man whose only crime is to love and want the best for his ailing daughter." 2 days after, the Nigerian Senate President Ahmed Lawan sent a delegation to the UK for the couple. Lawan said the Senate has limited opportunities to do beyond what has been done because the case is already in court. Still, the High Commission will provide some consular services that include the engagement of lawyers to defend the Enugu senator. But the efforts of the Senate were met with 0 results. Fast forward to April 3, 2023. After their conviction, former President Olusegun Obasanjo begged the UK to temper justice with mercy. OBJ noted that the Ekweremadu's actions are unpleasant and condemnable and can't be tolerated in any sane and civilized society, but begged that the court temper justice with mercy for the sake of their sick daughter. Obasanjo explained that Ekweremadu and his wife have learned from their distressing experience of theirs to guide their future actions or inactions, so they will continue to be outstanding members of their community and will continue to contribute fully to the good of the society in particular and the nation in general. Just like the Senate, the UK completely ignored Obasanjo's request and sentenced them to jail.
At trial, there was a great deal of character witness testimony, including from Archbishop Emmanuel Chukwuma, the Archbishop for the Diocese of Enugu. I have been provided with a bundle of 51 pages of character statements for the purpose of sentencing. I have read all of them. They include statements from a former President of Nigeria, the current President of the Senate, the Bishop of Enugu, the Attorney General and the Chief Law Officer of Nigeria, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. That evidence speaks to your role in helping to establish and maintain democracy in Nigeria, and also as an international peacemaker. Evidence also includes moving pleas advanced by some of those who have benefited from your generosity and good works, and also a moving statement from your daughter, Sonia. I take all of that into account. After taking account of the aggravating and mitigating factors in your case, I impose a sentence of 9 years and 8 months imprisonment.
Following sentencing, the organ trafficking victim told the court that he used to pray every day to be allowed to come to the UK to work or study. David said that to make it happen, he agreed to medical tests in Lagos and meetings with doctors in London, thinking they were required for his UK visa due to the COVID pandemic. Well, everything began to unravel until he met with doctors later at the Royal Free Hospital in London. He told the court he would not have agreed to it because his body is not for sale. According to reports, David refused to apply for financial compensation from the Ekweramadu family. He told the detective he did not need or want anything from the bad people because it may be cursed or bring him bad luck.
He is scared to return to Nigeria because of the risk of retribution from those that are sympathetic to you.
However, he pleaded to be allowed to stay in the UK because he worries about his safety in Nigeria, adding that someone visited his father in Nigeria to get him to drop the case. According to his lawyer, the victim is now helped by a charity in the UK and plans to work. "My plan now is to work and get an education and to play football," he said. While the victim wants nothing to do with the former lawmaker and his family, Sonia Ekweremadu seems not to be fazed. The ailing 25-year-old said she feels nothing towards him for sending her parents to prison and wishes him all the best. During a sit-down with BBC, she said she understood.
I understand the conviction. Personally, I disagree with it. However, that's from a very biased perspective as their daughter, and I would obviously always back my parents. However, the law has taken its course and we just have to now move forward as a family.
The 25-year-old daughter of the embattled senator also talked about her illness, explaining that she is undergoing dialysis over a genetic disease. "I had an APO1 gene. To us, that kind of excluded the family, especially on my dad's side because they have quite a history of kidney conditions." She further explained that she had two options, which is to stay on dialysis for the rest of her life or undergo a kidney transplant. However, now that her parents are behind bars, Sonia said her choices seem limited. "I do not have a hand in all the medical activities. My family is the one handling everything." Sonia also said she feels guilty about her parents. "Life is just so dynamic. One day you are in your house chilling, the next day your whole life is turned upside down. I don't think things will ever be the same."
I feel guilty because I feel like all this has happened because of me.
The good news is that Sonia has more potential donors. According to her, some persons came forward as donors after the case went public, and she hopes to get a transplant soon. Since the news went viral, many Nigerians have been reacting on social media. Former Nollywood actress Georgina Onuoha reacted and said, "Serves them right." She continued in some parts, "Do not take advantage of anyone because you are in a place of power. Dear Nigerian doctors, nurses and caregivers, do not sacrifice your licenses for anyone, let alone Nigerian politicians who deliberately neglect the health system but can rush overseas to be treated by the same Nigerian clinicians they treated poorly back home. As for the ex-senator, I hope they can extend his imprisonment. This same man was given millions, if not billions, to build hospitals back home in his state. He embezzled it." Rights activist Rinu Oduala tweeted, "Young Nigerians are making global waves in music, sports, etc. Meanwhile, a Nigerian former Deputy Senate President Ike Eweremadu has been sentenced to 10 years in a UK prison for organ trafficking. Nigerian politicians steadily disgracing the country as usual." Another user wrote, "But there again, Ekweremadu represented his Enugu zone at the Senate for 20 plus years without any tangible result. If he had used half of those 20 plus years to build a world-class hospital for himself and his people, the story would have been different today for him. Karma. Another wrote, as much as I feel sympathy for Ekweremadu's plight, I have always said that for this country to be better, all our old breed politicians have to be in prison. One added, all this man had to do was to put out an advert seeking a donor, and Nigerians would have fallen over themselves to donate. We worship politicians a lot, so the queue would have been long. But nope, he decided to go and flex in the UK. Another Twitter user wrote, those accusing the boy, he was offered compensation by the court twice and he refused. He said he didn't want their money and wanted nothing to do with them. Does that sound like someone who wanted to exploit the Ekweremadu family? Social commentator Reno Omokri reacted and begged President Buhari to secure a pardon from King Charles III on the occasion of the royal coronation. He tweeted, as a parting gift to Nigeria, I appeal to President Muhammadu Buhari to use his private audience with King Charles III to appeal for a royal prerogative of mercy for Senator Ike Eweremadu, which is within the power of the British monarch. The president will forever be appreciated and remembered for his gesture to a man who has served Nigeria loyally and dedicatedly, and who only committed the crime he was convicted of because of desperation. As a loving father of a child in dire need of kidney transplant, may God bless President Muhammadu Buhari as we pray that he accedes to this humble request. However, according to the judge, Ike Ekweremadu must spend 5 to 6 years in prison before he can be eligible to be released under supervised probation or other license conditions. In contrast, his wife, Beatrice, must spend at least 2 years to be eligible for the same. This makes Reno Omokri's proposal seem impossible. Tell us guys, do you agree with Reno Omokri? Is King Charles' coronation a real opportunity for a pardon request for the Ekweremadus? Do you think it will be granted? What do you think about Sonia feeling guilty about her parents' convictions but feeling nothing for the young man whose kidney would have been harvested for her without his consent? Finally, do you think Ekweremadu and other politicians like him will learn from this sad experience?
Share your opinion in the comment section down below. If you found this video informative, please comment, like and share. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to be notified every time I upload a new video so that you don't miss out. Thanks for watching and see you on our next one.